Hampton Roads spending day one of spring, yes, spring, preparing for nor'easter number 4 in recent weeks.
Another wave of rain is headed our way. Jeff is tracking this latest storm system. Jeff.
Yeah, and these March systems are always touch and go when it comes to whether you're going to get rain, whether you're going to get snow. Right now, we have some rain working up the coast. That's the surface area of low pressure. The upper level low pressure area, 5, 10, 15,000 feet up, that is out to the west. And look at all these different colors. You go from primarily a rainstorm to a mix to then primarily snow with a little bit of winter weather mixed in. Currently, we're way above freezing and we'll stay way above freezing throughout this storm. 41 is the current temperature. That's about as low as we'll go. Winds, though, northerly 24 miles per hour, gusting up over 30. That's going to pull the cold air in. We will have some of this rain again moving through the area tonight, but not a ton of it. And then even once we get into tomorrow morning, we're going to have some rain, but you can see it really takes a while for the rest of that system to start to pull in. So during the morning, we'll see the rain, and even later tonight, we'll see some rain redeveloping. But then tomorrow, midday, we'll start to see the cold air move in. No problems at all for morning rush hour. Probably not even any significant problems at lunchtime. Eventually, late in the day is when we start to see things turning over. So the drizzle tonight turns into a little bit of rain again later. Not for everybody, though. Rain changes to snow for many tomorrow, and for many of us late in the day. Some accumulations, especially on raised surfaces. The harder it snows and the more it snows, the better the chance of sticking on roads. That'll tend to be a little bit more to the north, where they're going to have a significant storm. Generally, much of Hampton Roads a trace to an inch. I'll talk in more detail about it coming up.
Jeff, thanks. So far, we have just one report of an early dismissal. Franklin City Schools will close at 12:45 tomorrow. We'll keep updating you as we get more notifications. With one nor'easter after another slamming Hampton Roads, businesses along the Oceanfront are taking hits.
Not just by the wind and rain, but financially as well. Robert Boyd is live at the Oceanfront with more.
Well, Regina and David, it certainly doesn't feel like the first day of spring out here at the Oceanfront. I'm standing in front of the boardwalk right now, and I'm looking up and down both directions. And I got to tell you, there's not a soul out here except for me and our photographer, Connor. Most of the businesses have not opened because of that. However, we did find a couple stores and restaurants that did open, and they say they don't care how many nor'easters are thrown their way, they'll be ready. The wind is howling and the waves are crashing at the Oceanfront. Businesses are losing count of how many nor'easters they've dealt with.
What is this, 4 straight we've had? It seems like every week now we're having the storms come through and everything.
Ocean Eddies opened up last week in anticipation of tourists on spring break. But so far, their customer base has mainly been locals.
On a night like this, sometimes you don't even know if the place is open. Do I want to go out in the rain and everything? But that's a concern.
We did run into one family visiting from Kansas. Not the picture-perfect beach experience they were hoping for. What do you think about the fact that you visited during a nor'easter?
It was a poor decision, clearly. Kansas was warmer than this morning.
Inside the Beach Pier gift shop, Peg Hines has plenty of downtime to prepare for warmer days ahead.
Well, you get frustrated, but you take advantage of it. You do more housework, getting cleaning done, checking in new stock for the season. You just keep busy.
She's afraid to put any of her merchandise outside. She's learned from past mistakes.
We've lost a few things, mostly turners. Some hats went flying one time. We ended up not getting quite all of them back. We think some of them went out to sea.
And when your business includes a Ferris wheel, safety better be a top priority. Most of the rides at Atlantic Fun Park weren't even turned on. Mother Nature was all the power they needed to rock back and forth.
We did have some damage on one ride over there. The canvas completely blew off, and little fish lights come loose.
Joseph Herbst is in charge of making sure every piece of every ride is tied down tight. The rock climbing wall has been placed on its side, just in case.
40, 50 mile an hour winds, we're good on pretty much everything. It's pretty much rated for that kind of wind.
Now, we did stop by a couple of businesses that normally would be open here at the Oceanfront on the first day of spring, but nope, they were closed because I guess it makes no sense to open up when you've got one nor'easter after another hitting your back door. Live in Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
Back-to-back nor'easters are keeping public work crews on their toes. Crews in York County were moving as fast as they could today, removing debris left in people's yards from that last storm. Workers are dealing with piles of stuff stacked up. We're told only 2 crews actually pick up storm-related debris in the county. They were taking a little longer to reach everyone because of today's heavy rain, but they were keeping a pretty fast pace.
It's a lot of debris out here, but I mean, it's just like any other day. I mean, we just come to work and just get it. Trying to get as many yard debris and many storm debris up today, because we don't know what the weather's going to hold tomorrow.
In just the last 2 weeks, York County's received more than 400 requests from people to have crews come out and pick up storm debris. County normally only gets about 50 calls a week. Our team of meteorologists will be tracking this next nor'easter day and night. Our crews will bring you a live look at the conditions outside before you head out the door tomorrow morning. So check in with 13 News Now Daybreak starting at 4:30.
It was packed at tonight's school board meeting in Newport News. So many people came out to talk about the future of Huntington Middle School and its students. The proposed budget for next year includes closing the school, which is old and deteriorating. One plan would give Huntington students their own wing at Heritage High School. Rising 6th graders would be rezoned to Hines and Crittenton Middle Schools.
We need to tear down Huntington Middle School and rebuild it. It's very important that that school stays in that community.
Where they could be nurtured by the community and helped by the teachers and, as they say, some of the coaches.
They shouldn't have to travel all over the city. We don't deserve that.
The school board is set to vote on the budget and the Huntington rezoning next week.
15-year-old boy is being detained tonight at a deadly stabbing in Newport News. Police say it happened in a mobile home park on Onancock Trail. A 37-year-old man was apparently stabbed to death. Medics pronounced him dead at the scene. Case is being investigated, and there is no word on any arrests or any charges. Tonight, another community is mourning a deadly shooting incident at a school. A teen shooter is dead. 1 student is in critical condition and a 3rd student is stable after a shooting at a high school today in Maryland. The violence happening just days before a planned nationwide march against gun violence in schools. ABC's Lana Zach has more from the scene.
Another group of frightened students in lockdown.
Anybody need medical treatment?
As police move through the classrooms in Great Mills High School, 1 student can be heard whispering.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you.
Police say it was just before 8 a.m. when a 17-year-old male student, Austin Wyatt Rollins, fired a Glock semi-automatic handgun on a 14-year-old male student and a 16-year-old female student. School resource officer Blaine Gaskill, a trained SWAT team member, immediately responded.
And I think while it's still tragic, he may have saved other people's lives.
Many here describing their fear and shock.
I was scared. I was ready to just break down and cry, but I wanted to protect everybody first, because my school means the world to me.
You don't expect this, because we just had a walkout just a week ago about gun violence.
Many of the members of the Great Mills community are expected to participate in Saturday's march, while the superintendent has a message for the rest of the nation.
If you don't think this can't happen at your school, you are sadly mistaken. We are shaken.
Investigators are still trying to piece together a motive. There were several threats made against the school in recent weeks, but the sheriff's office says that none of them were deemed to be credible. In regards to this particular shooter, the sheriff says there were simply no warning signs. Reporting from Great Mills, Maryland, Lana Zach, ABC News.
More concerns in the aftermath of the Florida school shooting. Authorities want the brother of the alleged gunman to be committed and banned from having guns. The Broward Sheriff's Office filed for a risk protection order against 18-year-old Zachary Cruz today. If a judge approves the request, Cruz would be hospitalized for a mental health evaluation. Cruz was arrested and charged with trespassing yesterday afternoon at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He is currently being held on $500,000 bail. His brother, Nicholas Cruz, is charged with a shooting rampage at the school that killed 17 people. The brothers are being held in the same jail.